We are anonymous. No faces. No flakes. No permission slips. Donald Trump announced a major military strike on Iran, threatened even bigger attacks and projected overwhelming American power. Then less than 20 minutes later, he was suddenly talking about stopping the bombing, making a deal, and claiming Iranian leaders were calling him directly. Donald Trump stepped in front of cameras and projected his usual image of confidence. According to Trump, the United States was preparing powerful new strikes against Iran. He claimed American forces were ready to hit hard. He portrayed himself as a wartime leader taking decisive action against a hostile regime. As reports emerged from Iran, explosions were heard in several locations including Sirak Minab, Isfahan, and Qeshm Island. Initial accounts suggested that military targets had been struck. Commentators close to the administration immediately celebrated the operation as a major success. Trump supporters flooded social media with declarations that American power had returned. Administration officials suggested that this was a completely different level of military action compared to previous strikes. They wanted the world to believe that a massive operation was underway. But then, things started falling apart. Almost immediately, contradictions began emerging from multiple directions. Trump's administration claimed that American aircraft were operating deep inside Iranian airspace. Reports circulated that fighter jets were flying over Tehran. Officials suggested that American forces were striking strategic targets throughout the country. Trump himself would later claim that nearly 50 Tomahawk missiles had been launched, and that U.S. aircraft were dominating the skies over Iran. Yet evidence supporting those claims never materialized. Military observers monitoring the situation reported something very different. Independent tracking data failed to show American aircraft operating over Tehran. Analysts examining flight activity found no indication of the dramatic air campaign Trump described. Instead, reports suggested that the deepest military activity remained concentrated around areas near the Strait of Hormuz and Qeshm Island. The massive operation Trump described appeared far smaller than advertised. But while Washington was busy promoting victory, Iran was preparing its response. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps announced severe restrictions involving the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth. Iranian officials warned that maritime traffic could be disrupted. They threatened action against vessels operating in the region. Global energy markets immediately took notice, because any disruption to shipping through the Strait of Hormuz carries enormous consequences for oil supplies and international trade. Then came perhaps the strangest moment of all. After presenting himself as a wartime commander overseeing a major military operation, Trump suddenly shifted his tone. Leaks began appearing in major American media outlets indicating that despite authorizing strike, Trump remained focused on diplomacy. Sources suggested that military pressure was merely a tool to force Iranian concessions. The administration insisted that negotiations remained possible. Then Trump spoke to Fox News. What he claimed stunned observers. Trump reportedly stated that he had personally spoken with Iranian officials. According to him, Iran was reaching out. According to him, Iranian leaders wanted the bombing to stop. According to him, negotiations were progressing. Trump painted a picture in which Iran was essentially calling him directly, while military operations were underway. There was just one problem. Iran immediately denied the entire story. Iranian officials publicly rejected Trump's claims. Members of the Iranian leadership stated that no such conversations had taken place. They said they had no idea what Trump was talking about. Officials associated with Iran's military and political leadership described the claims as false. The situation grew even more bizarre when Trump continued elaborating on his version of events. He claimed that 49 Tomahawk cruise missiles had struck Iranian targets. He claimed American jets were operating over Iranian territory. He claimed military pressure was working. Yet at the same time he suggested that bombing could stop soon because a deal was close. Then came the threat. Trump reportedly stated that if Iran failed to sign an agreement, the bombing campaign would resume immediately and even intensify. In one moment he described negotiations. In the next moment he threatened additional military action. The message changed from hour to hour. Strike them. Negotiate with them. Bomb them tomorrow. Make a deal today. Stop the bombing. Resume the bombing. Meanwhile, Iranian media continued rejecting Trump's assertions regarding direct negotiations. The credibility gap widened. Then another controversy emerged involving statements from U.S. Central Command. Officials released messaging suggesting that maritime traffic remained active through the Strait of Hormuz despite Iranian claims. Critics accused military leadership of engaging in political messaging rather than objective military communication. For many observers, the situation reflected a broader pattern that has followed Trump throughout his political career. Grandes déclarations, dramatic claims, conflicting narratives, constant exaggeration. Trump has long been accused of creating alternative versions of reality, in which he is always winning, always negotiating from strength, and always in complete control. Critics point to decades of examples stretching back to his business career, when he allegedly used false personas and intermediaries to promote favorable stories about himself to journalists. To those critics, the Iran episode looked familiar. First came the boast. Then came the contradiction. Then came the revision. Then came the denial. And finally came the attempt to declare victory regardless of what actually happened. But many Americans were left asking a simpler question. If the objective was diplomacy, why launch the strikes? One moment Trump was launching a massive operation. 20 minutes later, he appeared eager to talk about ending it. One moment he claimed overwhelming military dominance. The next moment, questions emerged about whether the operation had been exaggerated from the start. One moment he claimed direct conversations with Iranian leaders. The next moment, those leaders publicly denied speaking with him at all. Whether viewed as incompetence, improvisation, political theater, or a dangerous mixture of all three, the result was the same. The image projected to the world was not strength. It was chaos. We are anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.